every year we see teams overexceed expectations, whether that be Arizona securing a 10-win season or West Virginia going from being dead last in the Big 12 to a 9-win campaign. But if we're going to make sure that we mention those teams, we also got to bring up what Missouri did in 2023 because they're on the rise, and I don't think they're slowing down anytime soon underneath Eli Drinkwitz. Let's talk about it. If you are new here, welcome on into the channel. My name is Cole Thompson. I'm a radio show host based in Houston, and I talk college football daily. So if this is the type of content you enjoy, plus coaching searches, transfer portal, anything going on with bowl eligibility, national championship news, and a bunch of other nonsense, make sure that you smash that subscribe button down below. Leave a comment telling me your thoughts on Missouri's 11-2 finish in 2023. Tell your friends, your family, your mortal enemies, best of bros, Mizzou fans, and college football aficionados everywhere about this channel, because we're on the race to become the #1 show talking college football every single day on YouTube. Give me a follow on social media at Mr. Cole Thompson. That way, the conversation of college football never has to stop flowing. So Missouri wins 14-3 in the Cotton Bowl Classic on Friday night. And I'm not going to get into too much detail when it comes to the quarterback situation. Ohio State was going to be down its starter regardless of what happened to Devin Brown. Brown had a few weeks of reps with the first-team offense. Kyle McCord had months. Kyle McCord had been in the system for a multitude of years. And he also started a game in 2021 when C.J. Stroud was hurt. So he's had the experience that Devin Brown has only dreamed of, but you still found a way to go ahead and pressure the quarterback. Whether or not you want to say that just because Brown left and Lincoln Kienholz came in, yeah, you can go ahead and utilize that to your advantage, but how about we talk about this defense? Another great performance from Blake Baker's squad, who once again is continuously turning the corner. Jalen Carlisle with over 11 tackles. Not to mention Tristan Newson, 2 tackles for losses, 4 sacks, 10 TFLs, countless miscommunication, a fumble recovery to close out the game. This was a performance to where if you are a team in the SEC, you're actually sitting there and saying, good job, Mizzou, making the SEC proud, making the conference that you are actually hated by, really starting to enjoy your presence. Missouri is an awesome story of 2023. They really are, because so many people would have just written off the Tigers because of who was their head coach. And I'll be real, I was one of them. I was not a believer in Eli Drinkwitz. And so I apologize to Columbia. I apologize to those at Faurot Field. I apologize to Tiger fans everywhere. Because if I didn't think he was going to make the right moves that eventually would carry this team to its ultimate end goal of 10 plus wins, 11 plus wins. And then he goes out and he does exactly what he needed to. He lets go of the play calling and hires Kirby Moore. Moore comes in, offense goes up. Luther Burden starts acting like a legit #1 receiver. Theo Weiss, smooth, calm, collective, making highlight grabs left and right. You're confident in your young tight end. You like what you have at your third receiver spot, no matter who's taking reps. You start to see an inertia and an improvement from Brady Cook. You watch as Mookie Cooper steps up. You watch as Marquise Johnson steps up. You watch as everyone starts to fill the void, and the top 70 offense turns into a top 20 offense. So you already saw those moves, but the biggest part was you watched a belief, and that comes from the way that this team is constructed, down and out of the count. Many people, including yours truly, would have said, hey, one coach from the SEC gets fired in 2023. Who's your pick? Eli Drinkwitz. Call it a day. That was the betting odds. And if you don't believe me, look at the way that people viewed Mizzou going into the year. Except for one person, most people had Mizzou either in 6th place in the SEC East or 7th behind Vanderbilt. And the one person that put him behind Vanderbilt, that was because they put him at #1. But that's neither here nor there. They didn't believe that Cook was going to see continued growth. They weren't a fan of Luther Burden coming back to Columbia for a second season. And they didn't believe in the defense, even though Blake Baker did an exceptional job last season with the top 25 unit. But that's why the games on the field matter. That's why games like the one that we saw last night in Arlington matter. And you can go ahead and cry about what bowl games are supposed to be and how they've lost their pageantry because of the opt-outs. Sure, it's not the same game. But the way that that team felt, that is why you play the bowl games, because history is on the reign. We haven't seen a team like Mizzou do this before, where they've literally handled business against everybody. And outside of one bad play against LSU, we're talking about a Mizzou team that would have entered Athens, Georgia, undefeated. We're talking about a Mizzou team that would have had a shot of holding their own, losing by 8 points to the number one team in the nation. And maybe they would have finished 12-1 instead of 11-2. And 12-1 wouldn't have been enough to get you to the SEC championship, but it certainly would have given you that belief going into next season. You'll watch as this defense was able to corral Travion Henderson, make good stops on third down, force punts instead of giving up points. They allowed one field goal during the first quarter, and that was it. It was a showcase. And yes, we can talk about how the offense looked anemic at times. Brady Cook missed a few open receivers. The defense balled out for Ohio State. But you do realize that this was a number 3 defense in college football. It's not like they were playing willy-nilly Jack Joe Schmo. They were playing against a Jim Knowles-led roster that was missing one starter, Tommy Eichenberg. And Lathan Racem, he had been in and out throughout most of the season, so you can't even give him the nod. 10 starters for that team took the field. And yet you still find a way to get Cody Schrader downfield for a 7-yard score. One final time as he enters Mizzou's history books for the foreseeable future. You watch as Luther Burden breaks past a pair of Ohio State defenders at the back corner of the end zone for a 7-yard score. And the lead extends to 11 points. And as the clock continues to tick down, everyone in Columbia is just taking a sigh of relief. We trusted the process. We trusted the coach. We allowed him to make his type of decisions. And now we're reaping the benefits. Here's the best part if you are a Mizzou fan. This isn't slowing down. Not even close. Brady Cook, where's he going? Nowhere. Luther Burden, where's he going? Nowhere. How about a guy like Theo Weiss Jr.? He's coming back probably. Guess what? There's your 1-2-3 combination. Not to mention, you have an emerging young tight end that everyone seems to really like in Brant Norfleet, 6'7" out of Ohio, O'Fallon, Mizzou. That's going to be a game changer inside the red zone. And you're losing Cody Schrader, but I hate to break it to you, folks. You actually landed a pretty good transfer portal guy by the name of Marcus Carroll. Carroll actually was one of the best running backs in the Sun Belt Conference this past year at Georgia State. And so he's coming in and now playing that Cody Schrader role. And you're also upgrading your offensive line. Did you see who added in? Caden Green can play left tackle, right tackle, inside guard, and also play center a little bit. Human chess piece in the trenches that's just going to bulldoze over SEC defensive linemen. Yeah, I feel pretty confident about that. And you also are losing talent, but you're gaining it on the defensive side. You're losing a guy like Ennis Rackstraw, but you're bringing in the cornerback from Clemson. You're losing talent at linebacker, but you're bringing in talent at linebacker. And you just finished with a top 20 recruiting class for the first time since 2016? This is good news if you are Mizzou. This is great news if you are Mizzou, because Missouri right now is a team that has the drive, it has the momentum, and it also has seen the light. We're a top 10 team in college football. They are going to finish inside the top 10 for 2023. I would say at least 70% of their production comes back in 2024. And on top of that, with an exceptional recruiting class, with the names added in via the transfer portal, and let's not forget that you also are going out and keeping as many players as possible and your offensive and defensive coordinator. What changes? Honestly, what truly changes for Mizzou going into next year? The schedule? Okay, it's actually pretty fair-fetched in my opinion. 10 wins are plausible. 11 wins are actually very much on the radar. A trip to Atlanta is without question on display. And so you take this feeling of knowing that you beat a team that many people believed was a favorite to win it all, regardless of who was playing and who was out. And you hold that going into the offseason. You carry that weight all the way up until July and then September. And then you remember that there are going to be people out there that say, well, Mizzou looked good, but we've seen this before. We've seen where a team looks good for one season, then all the starters come back because if they want their swan song moment and things go haywire. Let people believe that. In fact, I beg, I implore you, if you are a Mizzou fan, have people buy into that shtick. Because the last thing that you want to do is feel like that you are way too overhyped and you can't live up to the bar. Here's the deal. You're not going to be overhyped. Everybody is paying attention to what a program like Mizzou does. And Mizzou is one of these schools right now that, in my opinion, is great for the transfer portal because basically it's a new location where you're meant to work. Everybody that goes to Mizzou, that comes in via the portal, realizes I had my fun at this one place. Now it's time for me to get serious. And Eli Drinkwitz is making sure that people are dead serious about the future of the Tigers. I would not be a betting man if I was, but here's what I will say. The way that this team looked last night, even with the flaws in the first half, they get that inertia back. They continue to play this style of defense, this brand of football, and maybe you get a little bit more accuracy from Brady Cook at times. College football playoff is not off the radar. Winning a college football playoff game is not off the radar. And an Elite Eight appearance, maybe even a Final Four appearance, definitely could be in the mix, especially with what you got returning and what you're adding in. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.